Hello, happy day. Welcome to Inner Goddess Guidance. This channel is designed for women who consider themselves divine feminines on the twin flame path, or perhaps just somebody who wants to explore having more self-mastery in their life. It's really about a journey of healing and self-mastery using tools and tips and thoughts and perspectives that might be able to help shine a light for you. I use goddess oracle cards, pull in a goddess energy of the day to help us focus. I also pull some healing cards so that we can focus our healing. I'll guide you in coming up with an affirmation for the day so that you can focus your brain throughout the day on one positive thought, maybe a change you want to make, but in a positive way. And hopefully you gain something that can serve you on your journey. My background is as a teacher and as a personal coach. Those are the two things I know best. I'm also a Reiki master, and a few other things. But the important thing is that when I ask myself, what do I have to offer of service, especially and particularly for women on the divine feminine twin flame path, I realized that teachers do, as a teacher, I do something that's kind of unique, a skill whereby I have learned how to take concepts and bring them into exercises that can help people apply concepts to their daily life. And that is my unique gift. So when I combine my personal experience with that unique gift, I'm hoping that, especially if you're struggling for some real tangible tools to use to get in touch with your mission, your path, to help you when you're struggling. The intention of this channel is that I allow you or present to you some tools to explore in a very safe way, mostly through journaling, but maybe also through talking or other exercises like I'm going to present today. So today I want to focus the talk part, the beginning part, on alignment, the word alignment and what that means and sort of the pieces of that. And there's no way I'm going to tackle the whole concept of alignment in one video. But as I ask myself, what is alignment? How do we get into alignment? What are the components of achieving that? It became clear to me that one of the parts of the process that was most important for me is clarity of vision. So that is really your intention. And intention is focused on the future. It's something that you want to create. And we put attention on our daily steps in order to align with our intention, which is our vision. So I wanted to talk about how you clarify your own vision. It can be overwhelming, I think, because a lot of times we listen to other people's visions and we're like, wow, that's a really beautiful vision. But that's the vision that they have for themselves or their lives. And the important thing is that in order to come into alignment, you have to go inward and become clear about what is your vision. So there are a couple ways to do this that I suggest. The first one is creating a vision board. Now, a vision board is a visual representation of what you want to achieve in your life or in a certain amount of time. It is a vision for using visual images. It can be photos, could be symbols, it could be words that you find, it can be things that you write, things that you draw. Your vision board is just your visual representation of what you want to achieve. A couple of reasons why vision boards are helpful. First, a vision board is helpful because as you are creating it, you are clarifying your vision. You're constantly asking yourself, well, is this the picture of what I want to create in my future or not? Is that really what I want, or is there a better image or a better word to describe it? So you're constantly reflecting as you are choosing the images you want on your board. You are also really getting in touch with, I think, your higher self. In order to clarify your vision, you really need to ask yourself, what is the very best that I want to create? For example, you would never put on your vision board that you want to live in poverty. I mean, unless you do, but most people don't. So you wouldn't put that there. So you're creating the highest of what you wish to achieve. That's what you're visualizing. That's what you're putting there. Now, you can find many places that will assist you in creating a vision board. And at some point, maybe I'll do my own video, but I'm going to just tell you that there are tons of YouTube videos, websites, articles, books. There's even apps that can help you create a vision board. There's so many of that already done for you that I'm confident that you can find one that works for you. Some of them are very specific. You're going to lay it out in a specific pattern. You'll put your home over here. You'll put your career right here. You'll put your family over here. And some of them, for example, can be connected to feng shui. So they'll put it on the board and use feng shui principles for the way that you create your vision board. And if that resonates for you, that would be a good one for you to look up. Vision boarding with feng shui, for example. You could spend hours and hours over days and days, as I did. I wanted to create a vision board for months, and then it was the new year, and that is an excellent time to create a vision board. I think any time is a good time, but it kind of coincided with the new year and a new start. And so I really set myself down to going through a stack of magazines and page by page, cutting out pictures, and I just collected them for a long time, maybe a week or so. I would go through them in the evening. I would find words or photos that resonated for me, that I wanted, that I thought that would be beautiful to have in my future. Yes, that's what I want. And then I just kept them in a file folder. And then eventually, when I had a lot, I sat down and I just bought a big poster board and put all the stuff on it. So I brought mine to share, and this is pretty detailed. A lot of people, they would say, don't put so much stuff on it. But I just want to say that your vision board is your vision board. And just like your life, you get to make choices about it. So don't let anybody sort of tell you there's a right or wrong way. There's just different ways. And you'll find one that works for you. In fact, I did mine this way because I have a tendency to really delve into things. When I get into them, then it becomes my sole focus. I call it being monofocused. I'm not very good at multitasking. So for me, delving into that deeply was a good way to do it. For other people, you can have a vision board, leave lots of space on the board, and let it develop over time. Maybe you're reading something one place and you find something you want to put on your vision board, you cut it out, or you rip out that page, stick it in your purse and place it up there another day. Might be something you come across, like I often take pictures of quotes that I come across other people's desks or on their walls at their homes, and I think that's beautiful. I want to keep that. That, if it resonated, I could print it out and put it on my vision board. So your vision board is your vision. And that's important. If you want to buy into society's vision of what it means to be successful, that's okay. You can buy into that vision. Or you can put anything on your vision board that is for you, what you want. So you might want to ask yourself, Is having a large house what you really want? Or are you just saying you want a large house because that's a part of what's traditionally considered successful? For me personally, I don't want a large house. My true dream is to live in a small house. And I even, started building a tiny house. So, and a lot of people they couldn't do that. To me, that represents freedom. I just want a small space that's my nest that I can really create what I want in it. I don't want the large place that I have to maintain for me. So this is about you and your vision, what you want. So, the second way that you can create your intention and your vision for your future is also very helpful. And that is to do it through writing. And so you would use your journal or the computer. And in this case, there are reasons that the computer is a lot more advantageous. I'll go into that in a minute. But you're basically writing your future, the way you would like your story to go. When you're doing this, be careful about not being specific in terms of people. So if you're writing about your beloved or the relationship that you would like to create, I would be careful not to use that person specifically, because then you're putting intention on them having to change their behavior, especially if they're not aligned with what you want right now. What I did and what I would suggest you do that's more helpful is to ask yourself, in a perfect world, in my perfect future, what would that look like? What would my partner be doing? Maybe what kind of job they'd have, what kind of hobbies would they have, what kinds of things would you do together. And you want to be as specific as possible in that. Really asking yourself, especially when it comes to difficult things like how do you make money? How much money? How do you deal with budget? How, if you're merging families, how do the kids get along? How do you solve problems? How do you negotiate things? How do you talk to each other when you have a disagreement? How do you solve disagreements? So the reason why I find that it's helpful to do it on a computer is that it can evolve over time. I started, when I was writing, I kind of again did it all in one shot. But if I were to go back now and look at it again, I could add to it. And it's sort of like filling in a painting. You're creating this vision through your words, and you might want to go back and make some edits. And you can totally change your visualization, your vision of what you want anytime. We all can. It's one of the most beautiful things about being a human being is that we can change our mind. We can just decide, oh, I want something different now. So what I have done in putting it on the computer is it enables me to go back in to edit, to add, to delete, to clarify. And the more you work with that, the more your vision is clear, the more you can then figure out what the steps are to align to it. If you don't have a vision, you can't align. Okay? When you're doing that, the other thing is that you are also getting back in touch with your highest self, who you really want to be. I had a quote I put in my car for a long time. I found it on a magnet, and it said, "It's never too late to be what you might have been." And so embrace that. Who are you as your highest potential, and how can you bring that out in your vision? And then once you have that done, you can begin to figure out what the steps are to aligning to it. Now, some people will tell you that your vision board, a vision board, or these kinds of activities are so powerful in and of themselves to your subconscious mind, for example. And for those people who believe in universal energy and alignment to energy, that when you do both of those things and you begin to take the steps toward that, that it's so powerful, it just starts to fall together for you. That's kind of what The Secret was about. And lots of people talk about that. But I'm about tangible things. So those are two tangible things to get clear on your vision. And that is my tip for today. So we're going to call in spirit and then pull a goddess guidance, a goddess oracle card, a healing card, and a universe has your back card. Okay? Dear Spirit of the universe of love and light, please be with us in this time and place as we focus our collective intention on gaining wisdom and guidance for our journey toward healing and self-mastery. We ask for open hearts and minds to receive the messages that will serve our highest and best good in the service of love in all forms, with deep gratitude. Thank you. Okay, so I'm starting with the Goddess Oracle by, I should have her name figured out by now, Amy Sophia Marashinsky, illustrated by Rana Janto. And I know it's not so great yet with the camera, but you know what? All we can do is the best we can do in any given moment, right? This is the best I can do right now. Thank you for your patience. Okay, so Spirit, please let us know which goddess can guide us today. Which goddess energy wants to come through and work with us today? No, it's that one. Inanna, embracing the shadow. Embracing the shadow. That almost looks Egyptian, but I don't know. It's going to be something. Inanna. Embracing the shadow. As you think of shadow, again, like when you're listening to this, I'd suggest if you're dedicating time with your journal out in front of you as a daily practice or whenever you decide to do it, just writing down shadow and what that brings up for you. Inanna, embracing the shadow. I went there of my own free will. I went there in my finest gown with my rarest jewels and my Queen of Heaven crown in the underworld. At each of the 7 gates, I was stripped 7 times of all that I thought I was, till I stood bare in who I really am. Then I saw her. She was huge and dark and smelly and hairy, with a lion's head and lion's claws, devouring everything before her. Ereshkigal, Ereshkigal, sorry, my sister. She was all that I am not, all that I have hidden, all that I have buried. She is what I have denied. Ereshkigal, my sister. Ereshkigal, my shadow. Ereshkigal, myself. Sumerian queen of heaven, Inanna, tricked her father, Enki, god of wisdom, into giving her the 100 objects of culture, which she then gave to humankind. Desiring to pay a visit to her sister, Ereshkigal, she journeyed to the underworld. There she was stripped and killed and left to hang on a hook for 3 days and 3 nights. Inanna was allowed to leave the underworld only if she found a substitute. She chose her son lover, the shepherd Damuzi, who in her absence had usurped her place on the throne of heaven. Meaning of the card: Inanna is here to tell you that a journey to the underworld is the way to wholeness for you now. It is time to dance with your shadow. Reclaim what you've denied. Embrace your own dark sister, dark self. You need all those aspects of yourself that your parents, caregivers, teachers, society have deemed unacceptable in order to achieve wholeness in your life. Whether it be your talent, your beauty, your inner vampire, your anger, your madness, you are required to surrender to the journey and embrace your dark side. If you are already in the underworld, the appearance of Inanna may signal that the time for your return is at hand. Journeys to the underworld to embrace your dark side are a law unto themselves. They take as much time as they need to take. You can't just fit them into your schedule. When it is time for you to journey, you will, and you will not be done until you return. Take comfort in the fact that all journeys to the underworld do end, and that you will indeed return, much different from who you thought you were when you went. I think especially for us women, for me, there were so many things that I was told or that I heard from society were unacceptable, and then I buried them. And even on this journey, thinking about the higher self, I feel sometimes at odds with my quote-unquote lower self, the shadow side. Because the shadow side, I'm so accustomed to denying. I don't like those parts of myself, but I have to learn to love those parts of myself. That is a part of unconditional love. That doesn't mean I want to act in that way, or that I don't learn self-restraint, that I don't learn to walk forward in my life toward what I consider my highest and best good. But it means that I have accepted and allowed and unconditionally loved every part of me. I can be judgmental sometimes. By allowing myself to be aware of the times that I'm judgmental, I can take a look at that and I guess come to accept it, that that's going to happen. Sometimes I look at it like this. And she mentioned her sister, the dark parts of herself, the shadows. Sometimes I look at it like I have many parts of myself. They're the voices inside. And by allowing myself to hear those voices, I can then have a conversation with them. One of the reasons that you're understanding your shadow side is important or valuable is that when you have a conversation, when you allow yourself to sit with that and have a conversation between, let's say, your higher self or other parts of yourself that you really like and the shadow side, you can actually find out that you've got some things that need to heal or some needs that aren't being met. Some things that need to heal or some needs that need to be met. So allowing the conversation to happen. Hey, judgmental voice inside of me, why are you being judgmental right now? And going deep into that, even in meditation, to really ask yourself where that judgment comes from. It's just a way to inform yourself. And that's going to lead you forward. Because you can't really go forward until you've integrated those things. Where you can't achieve maybe the total, sum total of your greatest and highest good until you have integrated all parts of yourself. And as we do that, we come to understand and be more compassionate to the shadows we see reflected in society and in other people. And able to converse with them in a way that is compassionate and doesn't feed the shadow. Because what I find is if somebody is acting from what I would call their shadow self, a dark place, let's say, and I come into contact with them one-on-one. If I go into one of my shadow aspects, that's when there's a lot of conflict, and it's almost like reinforcing the darkness in each other. But if I've integrated my own shadow self and come to understand then I can recognize when somebody else is in that, be aware of that, and when I'm speaking to their shadow self, I can do that in a way that will not aggravate or create a bigger shadow, but will actually shrink it. I hope that makes sense. You can talk to the parts of them without judging the whole of them. Because we're all different aspects of everything. And even if somebody is predominantly sharing shadow parts of themselves to the world, their higher self, their good aspects are there too. And unconditionally loving doesn't mean that you feed the shadow and that you encourage the shadow, but it does mean that you seek to understand with compassion where that comes from and to converse with it. So that's a thought. So in your work today, think about Inanna and the shadow and being stripped and where you've gone in yourself, your voices, what you see in others around you, and how that's reflective of yourself in your own journey. Thank you, Inanna. Okay, I am now going to pull a Carolyn Miss Healing card. It's a daily practice for maintaining spiritual balance. And I do want to say that, I bought these cards, all of them, to assist my own journey. And so while I'm pulling cards for you, it's completely, a beautiful thing. If you don't need me, you can just go buy your own cards and do this same practice for yourself every day. That's what I did. And that's why I'm offering it, because I know how valuable the process was for me. If you feel like you need the guidance, you don't want to go buy your own cards, then please stop by here, because I would love to help. Okay, so the healing card of the day. Dear Spirit, please give us direction today for something to focus our healing on. What can we consider? Considering the shadow aspects and healing. Okay. So, This reminds me of, I think it's the Temperance card in the tarot. A woman balancing the two cups. So it says health promotes spirituality, and spirituality promotes health. On the back it says here, choose one spiritual truth and live fully in harmony with it today. Observe how challenging it is to let your physical life be in concert with your spiritual ideals. So our ideals and our inner values are very much our visualization. It's those are what our visualization is based on. So getting in touch with one value and then asking yourself today, how am I aligning my behavior to that? Because if your intention is to have compassion, if that's important to you, then are you in your steps today in your daily life moving in a compassionate way with yourself, with your coworkers, with your family? Just notice it. Again, in order to be aware of things like the shadow when it comes up. Where are you able to stay in alignment, and where are you working with some shadow energy? So alignment is really what this is about, which is great because that's where we started. And I have to say that I love that, because that is spirit being here and working here to bring us a message where the message I intended aligns with the information that came out. So one affirmation, I will be aware of one value or spiritual truth and try to align my behavior today. Today I align my behavior. Today I become aware of how my behavior aligns with my spiritual truth and where I am working with a shadow that needs attention. And last but not least, just because I find these such a nice light way to end, and light is so important, we're going to ask for one, the universe has your back card. So that is by Gabrielle Bernstein, this deck right here. Okay, I won't put it back up there. Spirit, can you just please give us one message to keep in mind, just to take away a beautiful, inspirational thought for us in our day ahead? How does the universe have our back today? What should we keep in mind? My fearless freedom lights up the world. Is that? Can't really see it. My fearless freedom lights up the world. Fabulous. And it does. You're a light for somebody. Anyway, shine your light. It's all about finding that inner light and letting it shine the best it can. Yeah. And being aware of the shadows, right? Okay. You guys have a beautiful, wonderful day. Shine your light. Bye-bye.